Oh, thanks for staying tuned. Well, we'll delve straight into the NUPENG situation here in the Niger Delta region and across the nation. Now, here's the state of play. The Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, leadership says the petroleum tanker drivers PTD will stop lifting products nationwide. Now, the NLC has declared solidarity, and the Labour Ministry has summoned emergency talks with Dangote and union leaders. Meanwhile, rival statements from some PTD figures claim there's no strike. So clarity is part of the crisis, and we'll unpack the logistics and the likely impact on the Niger Delta's depots and retail outlets, because here's why this matters to the Niger Delta. When tanker lifting stalls, our communities feel it first. Higher transport fares for traders, cost spikes for small businesses running generators, and stress on families. And you know how it is around here. Once things go up, seldom do they come down. So what is the best play here? We have joining us Secretary NUPENG, Akwa Ibom State, Comrade Vitalis Godwin. You're welcome on the program. Thank you for joining us, Comrade.
Yeah, good morning to you, ADPN. God bless you.
Good afternoon and welcome to Niger Delta Today. But first, let's get to understand what is the whole situation with regards to the strike. Is there a strike ongoing at the moment, and why?
Yes, actually there is strike ongoing at the moment, as earlier informed by the national leadership of NUPENG. The reason is very clear. The Nicodemus tricks, I call it a trick of Dangote, who is trying to monopolize the system of petroleum in the guise of generosity, is what the union want to say an early no to before the matter gets late. Because it's not too unfamiliar to us what has happened in recent time in the cement sector, how Dangote entered into the cement sector with the guise of generosity to make things easier for Nigerians, boycotting a lot of industrial processes, and soon after emergence, we can now see that Dangote is now dictating to Nigerians how and where to buy cement. And that same trick is now being used in the petroleum sector. And good enough, Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers leadership are very mindful of the interests of Nigerians and are very much aware of this unprecedented tactics. So they wake up to that demand to make sure that they do not allow it happen from the inception. Because if it does happen, the after effect will be so severe and it will be too difficult to overturn. So that is the reason why we are on strike now.
All right, comrade. Well, let's try and clear the fog now. As of this moment, what are the demands of NUPENG and other participants in this particular strike? I understand you have a meeting coming up. What are those areas that you wish were to be tackled as soon as possible for your workers to get back to work?
The demands are very simple and are already on the social media, because the union do not operate in proximity, don't operate from the secret, you operate in the open. So the demands are already made known to Nigerians, even the government of Nigeria, even the Dangote itself earlier before the strike was initiated. The demand is very simple. We are not against him using his so-called 10,000 trucks to assist distribute petroleum sector from his own refinery to Nigerians. Yes, we are not against that. But those petroleum tanker must not work in isolation on the trade union provision. The trade union provision is there to give a direct guide. The petroleum sector union is there to oversee the leadership and welfare of the workers who are rendering service in that sector. So if Dangote is so generous as he claims to be and has brought 10,000 trucks into Nigeria to distribute petroleum products, yes, we are not against that. But he shouldn't stop those intending drivers to join the union, because that is the guarantee of number one, their welfare. Secondly, it also aligned with the trade union demand that as far as this sector is concerned, it is an existing union which must protect the interests of workers in that area. So that must also be implemented. So if those few things are done, the union needs to go with them. We don't have any other problem with them apart from that fact. They deliberately want to bar unionism out of what they are doing. And they are so far in this country, trade union is the only truth-telling body that can tell authorities or whoever to his face or to their face that what you are doing is not within the standard. So trade union is only a factor now remaining as a voice of the people that can speak to the powers and tell people what they need to do and force them to do so in their little capacity. So Dangote trying to run away from that process is a very open and known trick that he is trying to deploy to implement his monopoly.
Well, Dangote has argued that there are a number of bottlenecks involved with working with members of associations and unions of his nature. He's mentioned issues with regards to strike, industrial actions like this, and also restriction of activities by some of the members. These members are completely tied to rules by the NUPENG, regardless of what the Dangote refinery has to do. And these bottlenecks, what would NUPENG have to say with regards to these issues outlined by Dangote?
The truth is this: what Dangote is trying to call or point out as the bottleneck is actually what he said of. It's actually the truth that he's supposed to have aligned with, which he doesn't want to. That is the truth. Now, he says that activities of unionism most times hinders operations. The truth is this: we have ordered several private depots and even government refineries that are working in this country, and unions are all over in those places, and they have always been working effectively without hindrance, without any issues of concern. Now, why is Dangote's case different? That is number one. Number two, what he's trying to point out as bottleneck is simply what he is having to hide from Nigerians. Because if you say you have a generous intention that you want to implement in Nigeria, you shouldn't try to bend down the existing law in trying to get that done. Do it in the running of the system and continue to do that in your university. And that is a very common stance for people to understand.
There's also been the recent allegation of Dangote using underage drivers for his trucks. Has the NUPENG brought up issues of this nature between the Dangote refinery to ensure that they're ironed out?
Yes. Let me quickly point you back to one of these strong Nigerian businessmen. Okay, yeah, it was the same Dangote. It was the same Dangote who brought in huge number of trucks, trailers, that convey their cement, meat ovals, and other small little things like that on trucks in this country 2 years ago. I think that was precisely around that 2009. Now, between 2009 and 2015, if you can check your record, you will discover that most 80% of those trucks vanish away through accidents. Several accidents were recorded, and in those accidents, many lives were claimed. And what was the primary cause of all of those accidents? Number one was this issue of underage employment of drivers. You know, they are from the northern part of the country where little children are trained to do certain things, and they come to get those things done even in their very late experience and advancement of age. So now, but coming into the sector that is well influenced by strong players, now the questions of that is raised. Do you still intend to bring in this same class of drivers who been used before, and we are seeing the effects, the consequences on the life and properties of Nigerians as a result of those accidents? No, it will be accepted in the petroleum sector because this one is more delicate than the other one. A fall of one truck is equal to at least 50 lives, at minimum. If that truck wrongly falls at the wrong location, it claims more than that. So in the petroleum sector, those are the things that the NUPENG leadership are carefully studying to make sure it doesn't happen. They present it through the force of unionism, which he is trying to run away from.
All right, comrade. Well, just before we let you go, let's talk about the allegations that the NUPENG is trying to stifle other unions from being able to operate. Now, what does the law say about this issue that the NUPENG is bringing to the fore? Is it that other unions cannot operate independently?
That is a cheap blackmail from Dangote. It's a cheap blackmail, because why I call it very cheap is because the Dangote people are learned. They understand that in every sector there is only one union that occupies the sector. In the petroleum sector, NUPENG is there as one of the strong unions that occupy the petroleum sector, and we also have other complementary union, which is the center state. So we in that on that two grounds, and the provision of the law permits stipulate that the Federal Ministry of Labour must permit one body, one union to oversee the sector. So if there is NUPENG alongside with Pinkerton overseeing the sector, what is that so-called union now coming to do? Are they coming to contain place of authority, or what are they trying to contain? Those are the simple questions we must ask ourselves. So that is it's a cheap blackmail. He knows the law. He knows that the provision of the law is that one union should be in one sector. We don't have an opposite union, different unions in one sector. It never happened.
All right, thank you very much, Comrade, for coming on Niger Delta today. We appreciate your insights on the program, and we're hoping that after this meeting, of course, that it would be held today, we'll reach some level of common ground and agree that this strike action be suspended. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you. We appreciate your time.
And I appreciate you guys. Thank you.